Zip line up!
So you ever want to go to space? The Knockout. He's got you covered. I don't know what planet E.T. there was from, but judging by how some of the enemy were playing in this, probably not a very clever one. He came to Earth in a flying cardboard box. I saw it with my own eyes. This is Battlefield Hardline, and since they've rebalanced all the snipers from how they were in the beta, mainly because the Magnum rounds were a touch powerful, shall we say in that, like talking like tank round powerful against vehicles, because they did, I think, like 20-30 damage in the beta against. They were the most effective thing, the sniper Magnum rounds, at taking out vehicles in that. So they've changed all the snipers around a bit. So I figured I'd go through them all again and tell you about how I think they actually are now. Starting with, of course, the 300 Knockout. Put a 4x scope on this because this is quite a close quarter maps, as they all are. It's probably the most difficult to unlock sniper rifle in the history of Battlefield, I would say. I've put it in a rather fetching pink zebra camo here though, and if genetic modification continues, you'll probably be able to buy one of these as a pet. But then you'll find out it's actually a pink super zebra, and you'll be able to fly across the night sky like Batman in his Batcopter. I have amazing dreams. Amazing dreams. I was a pirate once. You know what woke me up? Getting stabbed by another pirate. Like seriously, that was a dream. The 300 Knockout. Probably the most fun sniper rifle to use in Battlefield Hardline. Mainly because it's got a one-shot kill distance it's like from here to South America. And I live in Europe. It's up to 50 meters. I've got a good knowledge of geography right there. But it is a really long distance compared to the sniper rifles in the previous Battlefield games. You are probably going to lose out to assault rifles a lot of the time, but if you can get into a sneaky little position, like on the roof here, and I've only been using iron sights or up to 4x scopes because the bullet drop, as you can probably hear, it's got a built-in suppressor in it, is really, really heavy, so it becomes almost ineffective beyond about 100 meters or so. Now, I don't know if this is because of the slow bullet speed that obviously the inbuilt suppressor means this sniper rifle has, but I've been finding the sniper rifles feel a bit inconsistent, like they sort of did in the Battlefield 4 beta, where sometimes you know you're dead on somebody, but then the bullet just seemingly goes through. I mean, I've had a 20 kill assist. It's impossible for this gun to do 20 damage. But the minimum it could do if you hit him in the legs is like 35, 40 damage, or perhaps a little bit more than that. So there's something not quite right at the moment with how the sniper rifles actually feel. Anyway, let's go on to the second sniper rifle, those from Counter-Strike will love, the Orb. So this is kind of the slow firing, but good at all distances sniper rifle. Apparently it's not powerful enough to kill crocodiles, or alligators, whatever that thing is. Not entirely sure why. It must be an armoured crocodile. The worst kind. Decided to go with my knife to see if he wanted to mess with Crocodile Dundee, but he was apparently too scared. I'm pretty sure they said you would be able to shoot alligators. I'm not entirely sure why Battlefield has an issue with you shooting the animals, because if you played Far Cry, you'll know you could pretty much open yourself a shoe shop from the number of alligators you end up killing in that. If you played the beta, you'll of course remember that the AWP was really effective in that with Magnum ammo. Magnum ammo was so effective at taking out infantry and vehicles that taking this, the R700, was the obvious choice in that. They have, however, now made Magnum ammo somewhat ineffective against vehicles and reduced the amount of damage it does against infantry. So if you take it, you've got to fight against greater recoil, which doesn't necessarily matter that much with a bolt action sniper rifle, but there is quite a lot more recoil there. It only does, I think on average, between 10 and 15 damage to a vehicle, so you're probably better off just getting a rocket launcher out the trunk of a car and blowing it up with that. And because on some guns it reduces the rate of fire of them taking Magnum ammo, it's just better to run without it. So what you've got is a sniper rifle that's slightly better at distance, because you can always two-shot kill people, but because it's got such a low rate of fire, and because the maps are so small, it's just not quite as good, other than for having the cool factor. I really like using this because it's got a really nice sound to it when you fire, and when you pull the bolt back it feels sort of weighty. I hate the suppressor sound on the Knockout. I think it could have had like a much meatier sound to that, and really sounds make a big part of how satisfying a sniper rifle is to use. Now, since the AWP isn't particularly effective anymore, I thought I'd talk about the sidearms for the snipers, because They are obviously a lot better sidearms than you could get in Battlefield 4. They're a lot stronger at least. And this is a levolution on this map. I thought we had to set it on fire with fire, but you basically got to press the switch in the building that's near to it, and then it seems, people said shoot the gas, but I don't think shooting the gas does anything. You've actually got to like shoot the bottom of the pillar, I found out, and then the whole tower goes up. And I was wondering which way this was going to fall down. Unfortunately, it fell down pretty much where I was, and I nearly got flattened by it. But it's a pretty cool evolution, this one, especially if there's a sniper up there, like there was in the intro. Because of course you can do it 3 times because there's 3 towers, and you just press the switches for each one. But anyway, the sidearms, and I think since this clip is ending, I'll switch over to some R700 gameplay, which basically shares the same characteristics as the AWP. It's the police's equivalent of the AWP. It's got a faster fire rate but a slower bullet speed, so it's probably on all a little bit more effective than the AWP, I would say. There's such a massive explosion. I don't think it actually does anything other than open up these gas mains underneath. But actually, looking back at that gameplay, I think I may have seen a tunnel underneath. So it could possibly open another route to the grow house that's, of course, underneath the warehouse I'm looking at now. The sidearms, though, obviously you've got the taser, which you can use for any class. It's really short range, takes people out in one hit, and obviously you can go up to them and interrogate them after they've died. I'm using here the G18, which is kind of the in-between firearm and probably my favourite. It's got pretty controllable recoil, decent clip size, and a really nice rate of fire. The slowest firing sidearm of the professionals is the Tech 9, but that does, I think that's either a 3 or 4 bullet kill. It definitely does more damage than the G18. That'll go into space as well. What the hell? Then there's the Mac 10, which has got an insane, like, 1,125 rounds per minute rate of fire, which I showed at the very start of this video. It's pretty difficult to unlock that one, but it's like the powerhouse. It takes people down really quickly, although because it's got a really small magazine on the Mac 10, you probably want to use an extended magazine on that. I do like the cool factor, though, of this R700. It reminds me of Call of Duty 4, which is possibly why I liked it, because I played quite a bit of that game, and that was obviously, along with the M40A3, was one of the 2 best sniper rifles in that game. To be honest, it's a pity that the weapon licenses cost so much in this. Like, well, they take 1,250 kills to get a weapon license in this game. Weapon license basically means you can use this gun, the R700, which is a police gun, as the robbers. Now, bearing in mind this game is probably going to last like 5-6 months, well, or until October, November of this year when Battlefront comes out, and I would say then it's probably going to get largely abandoned. That's a lot of kills to get on a lot of guns in that amount of time, because of course a lot of people only play a bit of this. So I think for the weapon licenses they should definitely reduce the amount of kills that takes. The final sniper rifle in the game is the Scout Elite, which everybody starts off with. It's basically got the fastest by far rate of fire, the highest bullet speed, the quickest reload, but it takes 3 shots at long distance to kill, and if you're close up to somebody and shoot them in the chest, it won't kill them, so you have always got to get headshots to one-shot people. But that's pretty much it. I think in terms of general weapon balance in this game is pretty poorly done at the moment. Like, for example, in the PDW class of weapons, the K100, the Vector, is just, it's way better than everything else. There's certain guns that you look at their statistics and there's no reason to use an equivalent gun, and at the moment in the game the best sniper rifles are literally the M416 and the M16, because I mean the AK is pretty good, but those guns are just so much better than everything else. You'll find when you join a game, the vast majority of people are playing as the operator, the assault class, which has access to those weapons. I'd also just like to say thanks to my friend Varox, who I've linked to the description, who let me use his account to get the knockout footage. And this